Hello friends, in this video let's talk about what is the introduction of MySQL. First of all, MySQL is one of the most popular open source relational database management system. There are many RDBMS in the market, out of which MySQL is one of the famous. So what are all other RDBMS you see in a daily world? Apart from MySQL, you can see SQL Server, Oracle, Teradata, and so on. So first of all, how MySQL name introduced to the market? So MySQL is a combination of two words actually. So if you see, MySQL is a combination of two words. So what are those two words? My plus SQL. So when I say SQL, SQL is nothing but a structured query language. You can also call it as SQL, structured query language. So let me put it this, structured query language. So when you use directly SQL Server or SQL Server, so you will be directly calling as SQL Server. But in terms of MySQL, so you'll be calling my plus SQL. So SQL is nothing but a structured query language. Then what about my? So my is a name from a founder daughter name. So the people who found the MySQL, who introduced MySQL to the market, his daughter name is my. So that is the reason why they made it as my plus SQL equal to MySQL. And the first version of MySQL got introduced in the year of 1995. So later many versions came with a major advantages, major changes, and the current version, which is having very good scalable, reliable, secure, and very fast, we'll be talking about in the coming sessions. And this MySQL is a platform independent. I mean, you can install this MySQL on any OS. I mean, you can install on Windows, you can install on Linux, you can install on Mac. So by default, when you go to MySQL website for the software download, it asks for the OS. So based on the OS, it gives you the installable file. And this MySQL can easily connect to PHP, famous, Java, .NET, etc. From all these PHP or Java, .NET technologies, you can read the data or you can write the data in the MySQL. It stores the data in the tables in terms of columns and rows. So the default size of the table is 4 GB. It is a default size, I mean, but this can extend up to millions of TBs. Ideally, if you see a large scale business companies, 4 GB per table is not at all enough actually. So the default size is 4 GB, or it can hold 50 million records. But you have a comfort, you have a flexibility to change the configuration, to store the data up to your need. And it can has many columns as well. And MySQL works very similar to the SQL Server, and the terminology also little same when you compare with SQL Server. So we call the databases same here and there in SQL Server or here. Even we call the tables, even we call columns, rows, indexes, primary keys, foreign keys, compound keys, these all are same terms we use in both the RDBMS. So in the coming sessions, we'll talk about one by one in the detailed manner. So in the next session, I'm planning to talk about what is the terminology. So when we go into a new technology, we need to know some new terms. So let's say if you go to the C programming language, you should be knowing what is program or program word, statement, function, subprogram and so on. Similarly in the MySQL, so there are some terms you need to know before we get into the detailed levels. So that I'll talk about, and I'll talk about the installation as well. So once the installation and the terminology familiar, then we'll go to the deeper level. So let's meet in the next session. Also subscribe for more technical videos on the Power BI, SQL Server and MySQL and so on. Thank you. If you have any questions on these technologies, please drop your question in the comment section. I'll try to answer as soon as possible. Thank you.